What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're an agency owner and you're looking to close more deals over the phone, make sure that you watch this video right now. You know, we have about 150 plus accounts. We book about 35 to 55 sales appointments every single day with a closing rate of, over 15%, even with bad quality leads. So I am here to give you advice on how to increase your closing rate, how to close more deals, how to frame the phone call better, present the offer better, what works better, phone call or Zoom, should you have a sales script, all these things that I'm going to go over so that you can close more deals over the phone, you can make more money in your agency, and you can predictably give your clients better fulfillment, give them better expectations, all within that first sales call and collect payment at the same time. So make sure you guys watch this, like the video, comment down below any questions you have about sales calls as an agency owner. And then the third is subscribe. So let's get right into today's video. After taking over 3,000 phone calls as an agency owner myself before I had to hire a sales team, there's a lot that I've been able to accomplish and obviously experience taking all these sales calls and trying to close more SMMA deals. The biggest thing about closing more deals over the phone is that you should actually prove the concept through phone first and then move to Zoom. That's one of the biggest questions I get. It's like, hey man, should I be taking these calls on Zoom or phone? You need to prove the concept first, because if you can close deals through phone, your closing rate is going to be higher on Zoom. You're going to have more higher quality people getting on Zooms. It's going to be harder for them to say no when they can see you face to face. That's the number one piece. Okay. Number two is make sure that wherever they're booking a call, they're answering questions that give you more clarification on the business, where they're currently at, so you can give them customized responses or advice on your call. So some of the questions that I ask on my Calendly, where they book calls with me, my team through a round robin, is going to be, what's your website URL, so we can evaluate it, see what they're currently running traffic to, see how we can optimize it, bring that, value on the sales call for free. That's the whole point of a free consultation. Second question is, how much are you currently making monthly, so we know where their revenue is currently at. Number three is, how much are you willing to spend to ensure results monthly? We want to know what their pockets are willing to hold. Okay. Three is, are you currently running ads? And if you are, how much are you spending monthly? So we can kind of see where their budget's currently at for both of those questions. The other one is, what's your Instagram handle, so we can see what kind of content they're putting out. The other one is, what do you want to get from this phone call? I think that's number 6 or 7. And then we got, do you have a partner or a wife or husband who needs to be on this call in order for you to make it a financial investment? The next one is, are you going to answer when Jason answers the phone? And the last one is, hey, if we, decide to move forward, are you okay getting onboarded with payment over the phone? Okay. And those are the questions that we ask, so we can frame more objection-based stuff. Okay. Because if the client starts coming to you, well, the prospect says, hey, I got to talk to my wife. Well, you told me on this Calendly that you said that you don't need to. You are the CEO and you can make your own decisions. Okay. Well, I need to think about it. Well, you told me that if we answered all your questions, everything went well today, that you would get on board over the phone, and you answered that. So are you going to lie to me right now? Because if you lie to me right now, how do I know you're not going to lie to me when I'm working with you and you're actually our client? You could flip that whole ideology around on them. So a lot of the questions are framed for where they currently are, where they want to be. And then obviously questions for objective-based ones when payment comes around or when presenting the offer comes around. Now, first thing I always do with sales calls, and this is really important, is framing that phone call. And in the beginning, I always talk about I evaluate their website and I say, hey, listen, I looked this over and I see that, you're selling this product, it has the most reviews. I was looking through the copy on it, and I think there's a lot of things that we could obviously improve. Your product photos are this, your copy's this, you have no FAQs. You're not using these apps that we use. You're not doing X, Y, and Z. Giving them an evaluation on their business makes them feel special. Makes them feel you took time out of your day to check out what they're currently running, what their current offer is, what's working really well, and what the ad budget they're currently running or looking to run can satisfy the needs of that business. Okay, that's a big piece that I do, and I usually walk through the entire sales process. Hey, they're clicking add to cart, and this is happening. There's no upsells. They're clicking add to cart and it's not sending them to the cart. You don't have a pay over time option. Your product images don't show social proof. Your product, photos are not professionally done. We have a graphic designer who could do that. You don't have any GIFs on your copy. You don't have any headlines on your copy. You're not answering objections. There's no FAQs. There's no reviews popping up. There's no sales notifications. There's no urgency. There's no scarcity on the landing page. So many value points you can bring to that prospect on the call. And then obviously you talk about, how, you guys or I would implement X, Y, and Z into their business so that we can help them improve their conversion rates, how this can improve their average order value, how this could help their ad spend, what we would do for our ad spend, what our plan of attack is, how fast we could see results as soon as we get all these things done, how fast we can get them launched, what we need from them, all these different things that we can, obviously tease on the phone so that they know the clear expectation and what to expect working with you. Another thing with sales is I like to take the angle without answering it before they bring it up, which is like, they're going to say like, hey, I work with another agency, they suck. You need to answer that objection up front, where it's like, hey, like, I don't know if you've worked with another agency, but by looking at your landing page, I can see why things aren't working out the way they are. I can see that whoever you were working with before, or maybe you were trying to do this yourself, like these are the things that you have in place that are hurting your business, hurting your conversion rates, not allowing you to scale, not giving you an average order value that you're seeking. This is why your ads are probably not converting. And making them realize those things before it comes out of their mouth is just, it's an FAQ game. It's just answering objections as you go. And the biggest thing about the consultation call where you can collect payment, and I don't do two call closes. I don't believe in 2 call closes. I think that people need to be pushed to make a decision, because if they can't make that couple $1,000 decision, how are they going to make a $5,000 decision, a $10,000 decision? I always use that on my sales calls where they always want to bring the price objection. I'm like, listen, like, you want to make moves, you want to build a business, but you're mad about $3,000 right now. How are you going to make a $50,000 decision? How are you going to make a $100,000 decision? If you can't afford $3,000 right now, there's more things at stake here than your business. Your financial literacy is declining. You don't know how to manage money. How are you going to make more money if you can't manage the money you currently have and you can't even afford this? You want to make all this money, but you can't even manage $10,000 a year on this business right now. You can't manage $5,000 a month in the business. You can't even manage that. So I'm afraid as an agent that if I make you more money, you're going to splurge. You're going to spend it on something stupid. You put it in a place of like, I don't need you, you need me kind of ordeal. And that's the position that I take on the calls. Also I bring up case studies. I bring up, what other clients in that same niche have done. I also bring up like the plan of attack towards the end. I also tease the price too. I say, hey, like, listen, you're spending this much on ads. That's, that could be, X amount of money. And that doesn't even include the service fee. Like, you're spending all this money on ads. Even if we chopped your ad budget in half, you can still have me manage it and spend money on ads. So it's like, that's where you kind of can get them in the place of like, oh shit, like maybe it's not expensive as I thought. And you're teasing that as well. The other thing too, leading out into the end of the sales call, in the beginning, you want to frame that call though, okay? Because at the end, you're obviously going for the pitch. You're going for the offer, you're asking them for payment. In the beginning, you need to frame that phone call. Framing it in a way where it's like, hey, like if we decide that we're a good fit today, like, are you okay moving forward on the phone? I just want to be sure that you're serious and that my time's not being wasted. Is that something I could really count on you for, is, taking my time seriously and I'll respect yours? And framing that end of the call where you want to close the deal and they're willing to go on the rest of the call, they're framed now, being like, oh shit, I got to pay if he keeps talking. And they're framed. And they're going to pay attention more because now their money's at stake, their wallet's at stake, which means you're going to have the full attention. A lot of sales calls, you're talking to them and they're just doing other shit. They're sitting there on their computer, they're eating, their kids fucking playing in the background, they got TV, like they don't care unless you talk about an obligation, because holding humans accountable is the human psychological trigger that I use to make them actually give a fuck. And if you're not doing that to your prospects, there's a reason why you're not closing any deals on the phone. You're being too nice to these people. And it's not like the whole there's a thing that I believe in called cutthroat selling. It's like, if you're not willing to give people the dark truth of how it is to run ads or how it is to see results or how long they should be patient and waiting for, then they're going to be pissed when they come to your ecosystem and you can't get them results within a week. Like, they're going to be fucking mad. They're just not patient enough to just stand tall, deal with the process, and be patient. It's hard for people to spend money and be patient. It's just not how it works in society. People are so instantly gratified. They need to be given clear expectations. That's what I talked about in one of my other videos where I talk about, why 95% of agency owners fail. If you guys want to check that out, you can probably find it in the description below. But the other thing with getting to the end of that call, when you're talking about price, you need to break it down in a way where it's like, say for example, your pricing is $2,000 a month. Like, listen, you're spending $200 a day on Facebook. Think of it as you're spending $270 a day right now, and you're getting a dedicated team behind you. Well, if it's, because it's like $2,000 a month, 30 days. So you can say, hey, you're technically spending $270 a month and you're getting a dedicated team behind you who's going to help you optimize 80% of that budget. You need to have a team behind you who is going to be doing this and 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 this. And all those value points are going to make them realize like how much cheaper it is, because if they're already spending X amount of money a day, adding on that small amount monthly is not really going to mean anything to them, because now you've broken it down from like being this big number to a smaller number they can obviously afford. So those are just things that I would implement at the end of the call for framing. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like down below, comment any questions you have about, any sales objections, or maybe a question you have for me about sales calls you've been taking. What if a client says this? What if a client says that? How would you portray that? And subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.